So last month, we accepted the resignation of Arthur Weiland from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Arthur was first appointed to the ZBA on March 9th, 1999, and has served for over 23 years. In addition to that, Arthur worked with the Comprehensive Plan Committee and spent many evenings at public workshops of the Zoning Revision Committee. He spent 4 years serving as a commissioner of the East Clinton Fire District. Arthur has also been a strong advocate for maintaining the Clinton Historical Society Cemetery. On a personal note, Art has invited me into his home to discuss important town issues and has provided me with valuable advice over the last several years. His dedication to the town of Clinton should serve as an inspiration to those looking to volunteer their time in meaningful ways. And the town of Clinton gives a heartfelt thank you to Arthur for so many years of service. I'd like to open the meeting with anyone on the board that would like to speak to Arthur's service.
I have a letter. This is from my husband, Ron Mostello, who serves on the ZBA, or served on the ZBA with Art. Good afternoon. I cannot attend the meeting tonight, but would you please convey the following? Although relatively new to the ZBA, one of the quickest things I learned was that Arthur was a wealth of information and extremely detail-oriented. In my inexperience, applications that I thought would be open and shut were often dissected and dismantled by him, then reviewed again by the board members. The discussions that followed were thoughtful and in-depth, and we often had Arthur to credit for taking another look at zoning laws and resolutions. As a result, his insight has enabled all of us to learn, grow, and become better contributing members of the ZBA. I thank him wholeheartedly for his very long tenure on the ZBA and for the approach he has shown me through example. He will be missed, especially by me. Thank you, Art.
So I have two statements, one for myself and then one from Norma Dolan, who couldn't be here as well. I think we as a community and we as a board sometimes don't appreciate, at least openly, all the great service that many of our volunteers do for this town, because our town really couldn't function, at least financially couldn't function the way it does without them. And in a world where, things become pretty polarized, it's great to see how many of our boards work together without any issues of polarization. Happened to start my time on the town at the Zoning Board of Appeals with Art 16 years ago. I always found that Art was always conscious of a lot of different details that most people would probably overlook. Art in his demeanor has always been calm and confident, and when I started, I took a lot of not so much advice, but I followed in Art's mental process of how he would look at all the different details within a particular case, and his rationale. Even though we may not have always agreed, we always could come up with a final conclusion that everybody was satisfied with. I just wanted to thank Art for his many years on the town board and all that he's done for the town, and I want to wish you best of luck. From Norma, she says, I'm sorry I couldn't be present for this well-deserved recognition of Art Weiland. It is a true honor to have had the privilege of working with Art on the zoning board for 16 of my 25 years. He will truly be missed by all of us and deserves many accolades and his recognition for his significant contribution to the town. He's brought tremendous knowledge and insight to our board. I will certainly miss his kind demeanor and constant willingness to give an extra help whenever needed. His knowledge and ability that comes from his many years of living in the town, his diligence, his dedication, and his experience. He will be hard to replace. We do have an excellent zoning board, and Art has been a big part of that effectiveness and teamwork. Art, please accept my sincere appreciation for your service and all the help you've given me over the years. Norma.
Well, I would obviously certainly endorse everything that's been said up until now by my colleagues here. I first met Arthur about a year after we moved to the town of Clinton, which was about 20-odd years ago, when my wife and I applied for a variance and had to go before the ZBA. And actually, Arthur voted against it, but that's okay. We still got the variance, and we never did anything anyway. So No harm done. But anyway, that was our introduction, and we got friendly with the Weilands, and I got friendly with Arthur during my time on the planning board, overlapped greatly with his time on the ZBA. We had a lot of conversations, discussions, some disagreements about planning issues and zoning issues. And he was certainly very helpful to me, and I hope that was true the other way around. So it's he will certainly be missed after 23 years on the ZBA, and appreciate the service. Thank you, Arthur.
So now we will open it up to the floor. Anyone that has something they'd like to say, please go up to the mic and let us know.
Russ Tompkins, Shullsville. I know hardly anybody knows me here, but I've only been on the ZBA roughly a year, and Art pulls things out that other people might have missed. I think he was a valuable member there. Again, he and I didn't always agree, but I think it was Norma has said more than once, you got 7 people there, and the decision is a majority of those, and it's good that we have people with different viewpoints, and I think we try to do what's best for the citizens of the town and give them some leeway when they're constrained by zoning, and let them do reasonable things to their property. And I really think that losing Art is going to be losing a tremendous asset. But, you know, his father was supervisor of this town years ago, so I guess it must have run in the family.
Good evening, John Calogero, ZBA member. Dean, I don't even remember how long I've been on the ZBA. You keep track of it. 15 years. One of the astounding things that I noticed about my experience on the ZBA is how many nights I would go to a meeting, and I'd pretty much have my mind in a path as to how this was going to go. And then Art would start to talk. And he would bring up nuances, details based on history of the town, based on reading the zoning law with the finest of fine microscope. And I'd suddenly find myself in turmoil, which he did to me on a number of times. And I think I did that to him a few times too, just to keep the score a little bit where it is. But I'm not going to repeat everything that was said, except to say that he is going to be sorely missed on the board for the experience, the sense of history that he has brought to the town meetings, and the way that his presence has helped to balance out that board. Art, thank you.
I'm going to do the last part down there. So we got a plaque that hopefully he can hang in his home. It reads, "In appreciation of Arthur Weiland for his 23 years of loyal and dedicated service to the community, Zoning Board of Appeals, 1999 to 2022, East Clinton Fire District Commissioner, 2016 to 2019, and Comprehensive Plan Committee." Arthur, if you want to come on up.
Very kind words. I'm very glad to have some more time with folks that I know fairly well. I must agree with John that I usually came to these meetings fairly well sure of what I thought the situation entailed, and usually had my mind changed in many ways as we discussed issues. It's been I can't at the moment remember all the people that were on the board when I started, but they led me along and gave me time to learn. I often think of deer in the headlights. The first year on a board like this, it's rather stunning what you've gotten yourself into, and then you begin to get a sense of those who have experience, what they're doing, and how to proceed. It's been a great learning experience. I would recommend getting involved in community activities that require the use of your intelligence and creativity to anyone that has some spare time. It's a great benefit to the community to have these different voices, to have 7 of us on the board. I'm thinking of a case right now where, I think of others, but some neighbors didn't want a pool overlooking their backyard. And 6 members of the board thought the people who wanted the pool should have the pool, everything's fine, everything's great, but I voted against it. In part, the neighbors who didn't want the pool weren't alone in this community. They were frustrated and not happy, but they weren't alone. Somebody else saw their point of view. So thank you all for your kind words. It's been fun. We have a lot of fun as a ZBA. You wouldn't believe it. I think some of the applicants are a bit stunned. And I hope we don't hurt anybody's feelings in the way we joke and jest. It turns out Philip and I are only moving about 3.5 miles for the moment. So when when the dust clears, we may have some more time to enjoy this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arthur.